Hello, my name is Taylor Reddington, and I will be talking about how higher education has shifted throughout the years, developing into more of a corporate business. Consumerism is when people buy things they want, not just what they need. No one's life has ever depended on buying the newest iPhone, but it's what they want to keep up with the trends in society. This trend has seeped its way into the educational system, causing problems with students' participation in higher education. Higher education has developed into more of a corporate business whose primary concern is to make money through cost of tuition, marketing strategies, and other built-in expenses. There has always been a financial element in higher education. However, colleges and universities were not originally created to turn a profit. As the government continued to make cuts to the educational system, the demand for money became imperative in keeping the schools running, which cultivated the rising costs of college tuition. Back in the baby boomer age, kids were able to pay for their schooling with the help of a summer job. Now, college is the second most expensive purchase in people's lives, leaving many in thousands of dollars in debt. Student loan debt is a crisis of the 21st century, surpassing $1.3 trillion. On average, 66% of students who graduated from a public college have student loans, which negatively affects participation in higher education. The cost of tuition influences the ability of lower-class families to obtain a college degree and subsequently a lucrative profession in life. College tuition has steadily climbed over the past few decades. In 1974, for private nonprofit four-year tuition was roughly $16,000. In 2014, that price raised to an average of $42,000. This 3% yearly increase has challenged those aspiring for a college education. Colleges use marketing strategies and propaganda towards students to pull them in from all over. They also build elaborate facilities. When students and parents visit colleges, they tour facilities that look more like four-star hotels. Colleges now have the mentality of providers, treating their students as consumers. Campus tours emphasize extravagant dorm rooms and on-campus apartments. They take pride in showing off their shiny sports arenas, leaving out the most important factors that play an integral part in higher education, such as the quality of the learning resources and the teaching. Tuition is most definitely not the only expense one has to pay for college. There are dorms, textbooks, test prep, and food. Some are even mandatory. For example, some colleges require freshmen to live on campus for their first year. Granted, not everyone can afford to rent a dorm, so that rule limits their choices. It also adds more money to the cost of college. Since 1980, the average real cost of attending a four-year public institution, including tuition fees and room and board, has more than doubled, going from $6,300 per year to just over $14,000 in 2009. There's no question that higher education is fundamental to achieving a career in the real world. The importance of a college education is highly valued in our society where we race for success. However, funding it is a different story. The opportunity to be a college graduate remains largely a function of how much money your parents have. Many political leaders have proposed plans to help aid the burden of college costs, but little has been acted upon. Candidates in the 2016 election proposed plans of their own. Hillary Clinton's plan, the New College Compact, called for giving grants to states, which would boost financial aid for students and help pay for living costs and tuition. Under Clinton's plan, community colleges would be tuition-free. Her plan would be paid for by limiting tax spending on wealthy taxpayers. Marco Rubio was the only Republican candidate that had officially shown a plan for dealing with high costs. He proposed that students apply for student investment plans, which would link students to private investors. Students would not have to pay back the full amount that they borrowed from the investors. The real problem is that there is no real solution to each student's financial situation, because each person comes from different backgrounds and demographics. A proposal that everyone agrees on would be difficult to support. We need to hold our president to a high standard on this issue. We have to ensure he understands that America's competitiveness and viability as the world's economic and political leader depends on broad preparation for and participation in its workforce. At this point in time, all we can do is be smart about our investments and savings. In some aspects, we control the game we're playing and think about the long-term goals we aspire to reach.